I used to be a Weird Warriors kid. Now I'm a Weird Warriors adult. Each week I'm discussing a chapter of the iconic books by Aaron Hunter. My name is Charlie, and in today's episode, I will be talking about Prophecies Begin, Book 1, Into the Wild, Chapter 15. Join me on this adventure into the world of warrior cats. Before I dive into this episode, a quick reminder that if you subscribe for $5 a month on Substack, you will get access to extended spoiler versions of each episode, as well as access to the comment section and other bonus content. Now on with the chapter. So the chapter art for chapter 15 is a cat that I assume is Firepaw stalking a mouse. And the chapter begins with Blue Star walking towards Mother Mouth with Tiger Claw beside her. And Grey Paw calls for Ravenpaw to come along, but Ravenpaw is kind of hesitating. And Firepaw realizes that Ravenpaw hasn't really said much during their whole journey and wonders if he's worried about Shadow Clan or if there's something else troubling him. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is raining very hard. I think it's Tiger Claw who asks. It might be Firepaw, but it says, even Tiger Claw seemed unsettled by the black hole ahead of them. How will we find our way in such darkness, he asked. And that just confuses me because I thought they said that every apprentice has to go to do this journey before they become a warrior. So hasn't Tiger Claw been there before? But Blue Star says, I will know the way, just follow my scent. Ravenpaw and Greypaw, you will remain on guard outside. Firepaw, you will accompany me, and Tiger Claw to the Moonstone. So I guess maybe when Tiger Claw went on the journey as an apprentice, he didn't go into the cave and he just stayed outside like Ravenpaw and Greypaw are, and maybe that still qualifies as making the journey before you become a warrior. But yeah. So Firepaw feels very honored to be asked to go inside with them. But he notices that even though Tiger Claw has his chin boldly raised, he can smell fear coming from him that grows stronger as Blue Star steps forward into the blackness. Is Tiger Claw afraid of the dark? Why is he so nervous? But they go into the darkness and going back and forth through these tunnels, and they cannot see anything. It is completely dark. And finally, they reach an area where the air seems fresher, and Firepaw realizes there must be a hole in the roof of the tunnel. And he asks, where are we? Blue Star says, we have entered the cavern of the Moonstone. Wait here, it will be moon high soon. And sure enough, a little while later, a flash more blinding than the setting sun lights the cave up. Firepaw's eyes were wide open after the blackness of the tunnel. He closed them quickly against the cold white light. Then slowly he opened them into tiny slits and peered ahead. This reminds me of when I get home from work and turn on the light in my apartment and Lucky's little eyes squint and he's so cute. It says that Blue Star's fur was bleached white in the glow of the Moonstone. Even Tiger Claw's dark pelt shone silver. I think this sounds so beautiful and would look so amazing if adapted to screen. So I can't wait for the day we finally see what that looks like. High in the roof was an opening that revealed a narrow triangle of night sky. The moon was casting a beam of light through the hole, down onto the Moonstone, making it sparkle like a star. Now, maybe I've been influenced by watching the show H2O, Just Add Water, where they go into the moon pool, but I feel like I've always pictured the hole in the ceiling being a circle where the moon kind of like almost fits perfectly into the hole. But I guess, no, it's a triangle. And I also wonder, is this moonstone an actual moonstone, or is it some other type of rock? And it's just called the moonstone because it's lit up by the moon, you know. Beside him, Firepaw can smell Tiger Claw's fierce scent growing. Firepaw hears the fleeing paw steps of Tiger Claw racing back to the entrance. So I guess it's not the darkness that Tiger Claw is afraid of, because now the whole area is illuminated by the moon. So what is it that he's so afraid of? And Blue Star says, "It is all right, young warrior, don't be afraid. I think Tiger Claw was surprised by the power of the moonstone. In the world above, Tiger Claw is a fearless and mighty warrior, but down here, where the spirits of StarClan speak, a cat needs a different kind of strength. What do you feel, Firepaw?" And Firepaw says, "Only my own curiosity." And Blue Star says, "That is good." I love warriors so much. Oh my god. Firepaw realizes that the moonstone was the brilliant ball of light he had seen in his dream. But he just stands back while Blue Star approaches the moonstone and touches her nose to it. It says her blue eyes sparkled with its reflection for a moment before she closed them. Now she rested her head on her paws, her eyelids flickering, her paws twitching occasionally. And Firepaw remembers Graypaw explaining that new leaders have to sleep near the stone, and as they sleep they have special dreams. So Firepaw waits and waits, and he doesn't know how much time is passing, but eventually the cavern plunges into darkness once more, and Firepaw looks up to see that the moon had passed out of sight, and now all that remained were tiny stars shimmering in blackness. And a few more moments later, Blue Star calls out for Firepaw, and it says her voice sounded remote and agitated. She says, "Hurry, we must return to camp." And Firepaw races after her, astonished by the speed with which she rushed through the blackness. And finally they make it outside where Tiger Claw is waiting. Now, this sentence is interesting because it mentions all 5 of these cats. It says Tiger Claw was waiting at the opening beside Graypaw and Ravenpaw as Blue Star and Firepaw climbed out of the cave. It's just a lot of characters in one sentence. And Tiger Claw's expression was cold, and his fur was slightly ruffled, but he sat motionless and dignified. Tiger Claw, Blue Star greeted him, but did not mention the warrior cat's flight from the depths, and Tiger Claw relaxed a little. "What did you learn?" "We must return to camp immediately," Blue Star meowed. Firepaw then remembers the bad parts of his dream the night before. The fleeing cats, the great dark warriors, the ear-splitting wail of distress. Firepaw tried to ignore the cold fear that gripped his muscles and followed Blue Star as she and the others raced down the dark slope away from Mothermouth. Was his nightmare vision about to come true? And that's the end of chapter 15. These chapters have been so short and sweet lately that I can definitely see how, as a kid, I loved these books so much because, like, the chapters, most of them are very short and digestible and end on a tense feeling. So I can easily see how I'd be like, okay, just one more chapter. Okay, that was quick. Just one more, over and over again, like speeding through these books. They're so well written and so good, so exciting. Lots of tension, lots of drama, and likable characters, interesting politics, interesting commentary on society. And even if you aren't consciously realizing that as a kid or even as an adult, it's just an exciting book that is relatable and also a way to escape somehow, even though it is tackling real issues. So it's just really good. But thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to access the full extended versions of the episodes, like in this one where I rambled a lot about things that I feel like I remember happening in the rest of this book and beyond, then you can subscribe for $5 a month on Substack, and you can also access the comment section and other bonus content. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. This has been Into the World of Warrior Cats.